You read the title, we're doing this. All 93 levels of this random Wii game that has somehow become a cornerstone of this channel alongside Hell of a Boss. I already ranked all the worlds 3 years ago, Jesus Christ. So here we go, every single level in the game. Shout out to the one dude who asked for this. This is also my first video since reaching 100 subscribers, so thanks, I guess. And the worst level in the game is 8-4. Wow, this level sucks. Probably shouldn't be too surprising that the worst level is a dark underwater level, but somehow it's even worse than that. You can just skip a third of the level, and yet it still drags on despite not being long enough for checkpoints. The second part is just a typical underwater level, but that last section was made by Satan himself. Your only source of light are these things, and there's pipes pushing around that half the time you can't even see. So yeah, no question, this is the worst. Moving on from a dark water level to a dark boat level. 6-6 is shit on principle, but there are some cool things it does with the concept, and the last part is relatively fun. It doesn't save it from a whole lot of this though. If the boat was slightly faster, it might have made it to D tier. I used to call 9-4 the worst level in the game, but it's not actively bad, it's just kinda annoying. Probably would be higher if it wasn't an auto-scroller, but wow, this isn't fun. And those star coins are evil. And another auto-scroller. 2-Castle seems like it has a cool gimmick at first, but it gets very tiring very quickly. And the boss is somehow easier than the first fight. I'm surprised this is the only World 2 level in F tier. And another auto-scroller-like level, why are there so many of these? The only redeeming quality of 7-Fortress is Ludwig is a pretty fun fight, even if the joy factor is lessened by the threat of having to replay this shit. Rounding off F tier, we have the not levels. The Star House and the 6 Cannons. They're here because they aren't really levels. They exist purely to give the player something. Can't say much more really. Somehow walking a straight line is better than 5 of this game's levels. Four is a basic water level. I don't need to say much more. 6-5 is a fine level, but then they put this stupid fish here. It has some cool ideas, but this stupid fish is nothing more than an annoyance. 2-5 is a Yoshi level, therefore it is bad. And Lakitu is here. Yoshi is overrated, I don't know what to tell you. So, this game has a thing called mini-bosses. They aren't very good. They exist just to give the player mushrooms. World 4 sucks, it has the stupid fish and it's just going in a straight line. It's also unavoidable. Close behind is World 2. Not only is running into them random, so it removes the evading element that keeps this occasionally interesting, but it's also boring. World 8 is just a straight line to collect them, but at least the fireballs are semi-difficult to avoid, and evading them in the overworld can be a decent challenge. World 5 has some precarious platforming, but it is pretty uninteresting. World 1 doesn't seem like much, but if you land on all the Goombas, you get a 1-up, which is a pretty fun minigame. That's the best I can say about these. As far as dark levels go, 2-3 could be worse. It's pretty well lit and there is fire everywhere, so it's more of a dim level, but get a star and you realise how bland this level is. A better version of 2-5. It doesn't have the pokies, which is a plus, but Yoshi still isn't fun and Lakitu is still annoying. At least the cloud in this level is well implemented, but that can't save it. I used to really like this level when I was younger. No clue why, it's incredibly basic, with the only redeeming factor being some of the star coins, and it having the propeller mushroom. 1-6 is similarly really bland, but it uses its dole level concept pretty well. Not much more to say on it. The Cheep Cheeps aren't as bad as the fish from 6-6, but I wouldn't call them good here. It can be satisfying to jump on them, but most of the time it just feels cheap. cheap. You know what people love in video games? Waiting! So how about we have a whole level based around the concept, and put a hidden exit in, so people have to play it multiple times! To get the second star coin in this level, you have to stay in the same spot for 30 seconds doing absolutely nothing. It doesn't even have a good level to surround that. World 4's castle starts out really promising, and then it gets worse as it goes, culminating in one of the worst fights in the game. An ice cave level with water was never gonna be great, but it could have been a lot worse. Back to the mini-bosses, World 7's could be worse, and World 3 is an actual challenge and satisfying to beat. That is all for now. 2-2 is another level that's fine until the halfway point where you get the mini-mushroom. It was an interesting choice to put all the star coins after the checkpoint, and the first one is absolute torture, but after that the level picks itself up. 5-5 is one of the few levels where being an auto-scroller actually helps the level. It's still an auto-scroller, but at least it serves a purpose. Another level with a basic premise but expands on it decently well. 2-1 has some cool utilization on the central mechanic. Unfortunately, it's a World 2 level, so there's a limit to how good it's allowed to be. 7-3 is a better version of 1-5, but not by much. There are some fun segments, but it doesn't expand on its central mechanic as much as it could. Most starting levels are nothing special, and World 5 is no different. It introduces the theme of the world fine enough that it's a pretty bland level. This game sure does love waiting. It's not as bad as the other levels with similar premises, but World 3 Castle is carried by the boss. The first time seeing the ship cutscene is genuinely funny, and this level is pretty good, however it's dragged down by the easiest boss in video games. Like, this isn't easy, it's literally not a challenge. 7 Ghost House is a fine level, but there isn't a lot to it. You go up, and then you go down. I genuinely have nothing to say about 6-3. It's just a level that exists. Most cave levels aren't great, but the first one isn't the worst. It has some fun platforming, and the last part of the star feels great when you do it right. One of the best World 2 levels, and it's in C tier. The wall climbing gimmick is annoying, but the boss is iconic. Fish is back one last time, but at least the level surrounding it is good this time, and there are a good number of shells to get rid of him, sometimes on accident. Nothing too special about 1-3. It's a basic Yoshi level with a hidden exit, and that's fine, it's not trying to be anything more. Now for the biggest tier, with 30 levels. Yes, that part about cannons and star houses wasn't a bit. I'm reviewing every level. The greenhouses are fun, but kind of useless because of how quickly you rack up lives in this game. Also, the final mini-boss, World 6. This one is actually good. It's still only a B tier, but it can actually be quite fun avoiding the bullets. And they're the best way to rack up mushrooms if you want to do that for some reason. 6-1 starts slow, but makes up for it with its hectic ending. Unless you get a star. Ghost houses are hard to rank as they don't have a lot of cohesion behind them. Like, this level has a pole segment that's decently good, but it also has a peekaboo segment immediately after. I'm just putting this in B tier and moving on. World 7 starts off well. It's visually kind of boring, even for this game, but sliding down the platforms to gain speed is very satisfying. And it has a propeller suit. Not a big fan of the premise of this level, but 4-Fortress expands on it well, and Wendy is one of the few Koopalings that is actually interesting to fight. Despite how happy I was to see the Brambles in the Mario movie, I don't really like them. They're kind of just annoying, so the level they star in isn't great either. A vertical ice level with tight platforming really should be a lot lower on this list. I can Congrats on making a golden ship. 9-3 sure is a level. You know, I thought World 4 wasn't that bad, but it has the weakest best level. Apparently 4-1 is its best, and I'm putting it in B tier. Oh well, still better than World 2. Funnily, World 4 doesn't even have the best water level, despite only having 2 competitors. That title goes to 1-4. I don't think much of this level, but it has some cool secrets and it doesn't have any bloopers in it, so this is the best water level in the game. Auto-scroller sucks, so 6-ship is bad, but it has one of the best fights in the game at the end, so it balances out. 7-5 feels like it ends really prematurely. This game doesn't have long levels, but this one just felt really short. And these clouds only appear in this one level, and for once I'm happy with that. I think it says something that one of World 2's best, I legitimately forgot to rank. Like, I just forgot about it. I had the script fully written, and then I went back to check, and I just forgot to include it. And now, the best World 2 level, it's a win level. No, this can't be the best level of World 2. Wow, I wasn't harsh enough on my original ranking. World 2 really does suck. At least the wind blows behind you, which can lead to some satisfying parts, but yeah, this is World 2's best. This is one of the better Yoshi levels, but it ain't great. This jump is fun and can be terrifying if you mess it up. For a glorified auto-scroller, this is pretty good. While there is a bit of waiting, 5-4 can get chaotic very quickly. I know I said 1-4 is the best water level, but if you count it, 7-2 is the best water level. And if you have a propeller mushroom, you can ignore all the water. Our water level's great. 7-4 has a cool gimmick, but it can be more annoying than fun. The worst, actual World 8 level, is better than 2 entire worlds. I do think the firebars can be a bit annoying, but they are satisfying to dodge. The checkpoint is placed really weirdly, but it's a decently solid level. World 8 is so good it made an auto-scroller fun. I debate whether the auto-scrolling improves this level or not, but it's fun regardless. 3-1 is a good level with a solid end, and 3-2 is similar but slightly better. And the Yoshi's in it, I guess. The problem with B tier being the biggest tier is that I have 30 levels that I think about very little. The final level in the game is fine. It's more of a victory lap than a level, especially since it comes straight after the hardest level in the game, but there isn't much to it. On first glance, this level looks like it would be really boring, but the skips you can do to prevent the waiting are actually really satisfying to pull off. 7-6 is a better version of 5-5, and one of the few levels to make an actual good use out of Yoshi, but being better than 5-5 isn't a great accomplishment. I also literally forgot about it while getting footage. Okay, so this is probably pretty controversial, but 1-1 is actually good. Similar to the Fortress, playing normally is fine, but once you get good, it feels great jumping through this level. 9-1 is a fine way to start the world. The rotating platforms are a decent challenge, and I found myself often underestimating it. I didn't think the castle would be World 1's best, but here we are. The cogs, again, look like they should be annoying, but they are decently fun, and the swamp sections are oddly satisfying considering you are just holding forward. B tier seems to be just levels with bad gimmicks done well, and 5-Fortress continues that trend. It definitely picks up on the second half when the walls move faster, but it's never bad. The only thing keeping World 6 Castle out of A tier is this joke of a boss, which is somehow only the second easiest in the game. Alright, we're in the endgame. Everything from here on out is a certified banger. Starting out, we have Red Toad House. Oh, okay, wait. This is actually a good level, I swear. Aside from just being really addictive, it's not entirely luck-based. Since the layouts are pre-made, you can actually memorize the layouts of where Bowser and Bowser Jr. Okay, I'm definitely biased, but these levels go hard, so shut up. Aside from this BS at the beginning, 5-2 has a fun gimmick, cool secrets, and it's just generally a well-designed level. The part where you see the Crushers hit each other is more than enough to justify an A, but the rest of the level is pretty solid, with a much better boss than the rematch. 3-4 and 3-5 are one of the few levels with a genuinely really cool gimmick. Just adding the blocks required to get the real exit is a well implemented mechanic and it works really well. I give the edge to 3-5 as it expands on the gimmick better, but they're both great. World 7 Castle is genuinely really tense. I think it gives too many power-ups for a World 7 level, but yeah, I can understand why. 8-3 is just a fun level. Nothing extravagant except just good game design. Similar story for 8-1. I do wish there was a way to get around more of the lava geysers, but the fog helps keep the waiting interesting. 8-6 is also really solid. Not much more to say, World 8 is just kinda the best world. 3-Fortress is weirdly difficult for a World 3 level, but I'm a masochist so I love it, and Lemmy is best boy. The fake final level definitely feels like it could be. Easily the best ship level in the game, with a tense final confrontation with Bowser Jr. 5-Ghost House used to be my favourite level in the game, and it's definitely by far the best Ghost House. Like, it's not even close, but repeat playthroughs made me realise the gimmick isn't as cool as I remember, and it has all the same problems of the other Ghost Houses, but number 7 ain't bad. 9-6 is a great level, but it barely doesn't qualify for S tier. Barely. And here we are, the top 5. The best levels in the game that I have spent way too many hours in. These last few levels aren't just great, these are some of Mario's best levels. A bold claim, but I adore these last few levels. First up in S is 8-2. This is the one I have the least to say about. The platforming is fun, and the secrets are well hidden without being stupidly obscure, and the spiky balls are a good obstacle. What is that? What does that say? Okay, I'm rereading the script back, and I genuinely don't know what this was meant to say. It's 8-2 is good, but past me is indecipherable. You know, I was genuinely surprised how much I liked World 5 on replay. It's not like every level was a banger, but the ones that were, well, 5-Castle. I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was gonna be a low A at best, especially given how it has the same gimmick as 2-Fortress, a level I ranked C, but I was surprised how much fun I was having. I don't know, it was just a genuinely fun level that capped up with probably the best Koopaling fight in the game. Obviously, the Iggy fight had nothing on the legendary final battle. What is there to say about this final fight that hasn't been said already? This boss was so good, every Bowser fight from this point forward tried, and failed, to replicate it. The rest of this level is also great, but it could have been complete dog shit, and this boss still would have put it in S. Okay, some might think I'm crazy for putting it this high, but my number 2 slot goes to the Snake Skeleton level in 8-7. I know after praising the final boss of the game and going to the silly snake level is weird, but come on, you've got to admit this is cool. Like, this level is such an adrenaline rush. It feels like an actual roller coaster. I really should have more to say for my number 2 slot, but no, it's just cool. And then the second one comes in, it's so good! And now, for the final level, my number 1 slot, the best level in all of New Super Mario Bros. Wii is 8 I just really assumed that the best level in the game would be a World 8 level. The best level in New Super Mario Bros. Wii is 9-7. You know, these levels not having names kind of ruins the dramatic reveal. Anyway, if you know one thing about this level, it's that it's hard as fuck. This is absolutely the hardest level in the game, by far. This level is pure rage fuel, and I love it. This level may seem unfair, but after dying 50 times, you slowly see the intended way to complete it, and oh god is it finally satisfying when you hit that flagpole. Some of the jumps are incredibly nerve-inducing, but landing a type jump perfectly is the closest thing to happiness I have ever felt. So that's my rankings. If you disagree, first off, you're wrong, but I would love to hear your opinions. I don't think anyone feels strongly about this subject, but that's what I thought last time. Speaking of which, now that I have the official ranking of every level, we can now find out scientifically how accurate this old video is, and get the true ranking of every world in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So what I did was I added up the rankings of every level, divide them by the amount of levels to get the average placing of a level in that world. That took way too many fucking takes. So now, the reveal of the true worst level in this random Wii game is... World 4? What? What the fuck? Despite my jokes, I guess, scientifically, World 4 is the worst. I don't know how to feel about this. Putting all the levels together, it had an average ranking of 63.8 out of 93. Obviously World 2 was close behind with 62.7. Wow, these two worlds suck. Everyone knows why these worlds suck, it's generally agreed upon. Next is World 6 with an average of 49.4. Not really surprised there were some bad levels. Next is World 1 with 47.3, then World 7 with 44.9. Surprised there were 3 levels that were so close, but not as close as 36, 35.3, and 35. Those 3 worlds being World 3, World 5, and World 9. I can't believe number 7, 5, and 2 in my initial rankings were so close. And if we removed the mini-bosses that dragged all the worlds down, they both beat World 9, 32.6 and 30.4. Wow, this video is really out of date. Oh, and World 8 is still number 1, with an average of 27.9. 18.6 if you remove the level that doesn't exist, and 12.2 if you remove the mini-boss as well. So this is the new ranking compared to the old one. Before I end this video, I do have one question. Why did my last video do so well? My Western Energy video is the most viewed video on my channel. Like, what? So, thanks to everyone that watched that. Alright, enough sincerity. See you, loyal critics.